Hello. I think that's a lot better now. Audio is kind of being a butt. Okay. Let me go ahead and switch scenes here. Okay. So, okay. So these are the two decks that we'll be using tonight. Tarot deck. The tarot deck here is called Tarot of the Divine. It's currently one of my favorite decks. I love the art style. I love the imagery. The Oracle deck that we'll be using tonight is called Work Your Light. Both wonderful decks, and they both go very well together. Hope your hope your nights are going well. Um, Before we get into it, I suppose I think I'll ask the Oracle deck what message it might have. Also, I probably unfortunately will not be streaming too long tonight, as I am feeling very worn out, and I don't want to push myself too far. It'll probably go for like a little bit over an hour, perhaps. Okay. what message do you have for those who are currently watching? Or who might watch later? There we go. Card says, share your voice. Come out of the cave. Persecution, expression. That's in focus so you can actually see the text at the bottom. Also, I love how it's picking up the sounds of me taking the cards out of the box and putting them in the box in high detail, but it's barely picking up the noises of shuffling. Would you make up your mind? So, share your voice. Share your voice says, you are being called to share your voice, perhaps by speaking up in a relationship, or through writing, speaking, singing, or some other form of creative expression. We each hold a truth deep within us that longs to be expressed, sculpted for lifetimes. The voice of your soul is like no other. It carries with it wisdom that can only be gained through soul history and growth. By remembering, tapping into, and expressing this unique tone, we not only heal ourselves, we also heal the planet at large. When you share your voice, you unlock something in the universe and call a missing piece of you home. Your individual voice is the most powerful sound current on the planet. If you have kept your soul's voice silenced or held back, chanting or singing could be truly life-changing for you. Hey Ram, thanks for stopping by again. As we shed the layers of our personality and start letting our unique soul speak through us, we discover that we actually have a very clear message that longs to be shared. The more we speak it, the clearer it gets. There has never been a better time in history than right now to rise up, speak your truth, and share your soul's voice. If you feel fearful, know that you are not alone and that the world needs your unique tone in order to harmonize. As we each rise up and share our song, we make it easier for the next person to do the same. Oh yeah, sorry. Queue is currently closed. I might open it back. I might open it up later. I'm still uncertain about that. I'm not quite certain how long I'm going to be streaming, which is why I'm just doing collective readings currently. So if you want to stick around and see if the deck might have a message for you, you're more than welcome to. Also, I've been doing well. Just a bit tired today. That's good. Do you want me to reread that? Like, there was a portion before that. Thank you. Okay, I'll reread it. There's like another half of that. Okay. So the first half of that, I'll reread the entire thing, but starting from the beginning, it says, "You are being called to share your voice, perhaps by speaking up in a relationship, or through writing, speaking, singing, or some other form of creative expression. We each hold a truth deep within us that longs to be expressed. Sculpted for lifetimes, the voice of your soul is like no other. It carries with it wisdom that can only be gained through soul history and growth. By remembering, tapping into, and expressing this unique tone, we not only heal ourselves, we also heal the planet at large. When you share your voice, you unlock something in the universe and call a missing piece of you home. Your individual voice is the most powerful sound current on the planet. If you have kept your soul's voice silenced or held back, chanting or singing could be truly life-changing for you. As we shed the layers of our personality and start letting our unique soul speak through us, we discover that we actually have a very clear message that longs to be shared. The more we speak it, the clearer it gets. There has never been a better time in history than right now to rise up, speak your truth, and share your soul's voice. If you feel fearful, know that you are not alone and that the world needs your unique tone in order to harmonize. As we each rise up and share our song, we make it easier for the next person to do the same. Well, I'm glad you get something out of it. I simply asked the Oracle deck that I'll be using tonight in the collectives what message it might have for those watching or who might watch later, and this is what it popped out. It's popped out this one pretty frequently for me too, which is actually kind of what led me to this point in the first place. Also, let me know if it starts getting a little bit hard to see. I didn't turn on my light because it's a bit too bright, because it's still very bright outside. But as the sun starts to set over here, it'll obviously start getting a lot darker. So I'm trying to monitor that myself, but if it starts getting too hard to see, just let me know and I can turn on my light. With it on, it's a bit too bright. Well, it appeared a bit too bright. I suppose I could actually see. It's not so bad. It's still a little bright, but it's not too bad anymore. I suppose I'll just leave it on. It's still readable, right? It's not too bright. I can try to refocus the camera if it's causing issues with readability. I should probably just do that. Okay, thank you. But yeah, I'm glad that message resonates with you in some way. I know it certainly resonates with me, so. Okay. So, I suppose that was the first message it had to pop out for the night. Starting off real strong here, deck. Thanks. If you're curious, by the way, the Oracle deck that I'm currently using is called Work Your Light. It's a very pretty deck. It also has lots of wonderful messages. This is probably like my favorite one to use just for general use. In my daily use. They're not as harsh and punchy as the Empyrean is. Okay. The Empyrean, yeah. That card popped out so much. Just really wanted to make sure we understood that one. Okay. Okay. And this is the tarot deck that I'll be using tonight. It's called Tarot of the Divine by Yoshitani. The art in this deck is wonderful. Yes, this is probably my favorite tarot deck that I have currently. Granted, I only have two, but there are a lot more that I would like to get at some point. But this is currently one of my favorites in general, not just of like the ones that I have. I love the art on this deck. I also love the accompanying storybook. Yeah. Also, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. I also love that this deck has an accompanying storybook, it helps you connect to the cards a lot more deeply. I should actually probably like not only does it help like help you connect with the cards themselves more deeply, but exactly, it offers like a different way of looking at them. Um, Plus the stories themselves are just really beautiful. I love them. I also love that the artist included like one from my own culture. Um, one of the decks or one of the stories is a story that I remember from my childhood called La Llorona. I'm Mexican, um, so that means the crying woman is the direct translation. Um, I know it's probably like really morbid, but like I loved that story growing up. I don't know why. That story is so tragic. Um, you know what? Let me go grab the book really quick, and I'll just go ahead and read it. One sec. So yes, I am new here. Thank you. I'll be right back. It's I am back. So this is the book. Let's see. Page is La Llorona. Thank you. It's, okay. 97. So this is the story here with the accompanying artwork. I believe this is used on the Five of Cups. I believe, yeah, yeah, there are 5 cups here. This is the artwork for the Five of Cups card in that deck. So the story behind that card, the art on that card, that is the story of La Llorona. Let me actually pull out the card really quick. Gotta find it in my deck. Yeah, the story of La Llorona is quite tragic. It's one that I grew up with. And of course, depending on the region, um, like the story does change a little bit. But the general idea is pretty much the same. So, this is the card in particular, the Five of Cups. Of course, I grew up with, like, you know, like the traditional fairy tales and such as well. But I also grew up with some of the stories from Mexican culture as well. Um, because um, I am mixed race. I am half Mexican and half white. So I did grow up with both. So La Llorona says, there once was a young girl named Maria who lived in a small village. Though her family was very poor, she was very beautiful, so she eventually caught the eye of an extremely wealthy man. He was riding through her village one day, when he spotted her, and captivated by her charms, instantly proposed to her. She was dazzled by him. Encouraged by her family, she accepted him. His family was less supportive, so he built a house for her in the small village that he could visit. Maria bore him 2 handsome sons, and they were quite happy for some time. But her husband was constantly traveling, and he began spending less and less time with his small family. Then he began to ignore Maria, and only pay attention to their sons. Eventually, he stopped appearing altogether. When she finally saw him again, he was with another woman, who was from a prosperous family. Furious to the point of losing her senses, she took her rage out on his sons. She brought the children to the river and drowned them. When she realized what she had done, she was filled with remorse and sorrow, for of course she had loved her sons. She searched and searched for them, but their bodies were gone. So she drowned herself in the river. When she arrived at the gates of the afterlife, Maria was denied entry without her children. Maria was forced to return to Earth, and stuck between the living and the dead, began to search for her children. To this day, she still searches, kidnapping children who wander alone at night and drowning them to replace her own children. She can be heard crying, "Ay, mis hijos," or "Oh, my children." This is why she is now known as La Llorona, or the Weeping Woman. There is sometimes a bit more to that story. The general idea of it that being that she was essentially cursed to continue wandering the river in search of her children. That was one of the for whatever reason, that was one of the stories that I remember the most from my childhood. So seeing it in this book was actually really nice to see. And that's largely like what I adore about this deck is that it shares stories from so many different cultures. That and if yes. Like there are stories from there are like Native American stories. There are stories from like natives of like other countries. There are stories from so many different like religions as well. There are a few of those. Like there are a few stories that are based in like Hinduism. Um, there is one that is technically based in Catholicism. Um, it's the story of Guadalupe, which is also another Mexican um, story as well. One that I'm also familiar with. There are stories from like Japan, China, New Zealand. There are stories from a few different countries in Europe. There are stories from different cultures in Africa. There's even a story from the US as well. I believe that one's like the story that's associated with the artwork on like the Seven of Wands or something, I think. I forget the name of the story though. Yeah, there are just like so many stories from so many different cultures. The associated book is called Beneath the Moon. The deck itself is called Tarot of the Divine. The guidebook in this deck does include little snippets of the story, but if you want the full story, the the book contains all of them. But as I was saying earlier, because of the stories that are attached to the imagery of each card, that helps you connect with the deck on a bit of a deeper level. And perhaps connect to it in a different way. Which is especially useful, for instance, like if like tarot is something that you're new to, having a deck like this where you can actually connect with it in that way is certainly very, very helpful. Which, um, I I didn't realize at the time. Um, this was actually the first deck that I bought. I didn't realize that it was attached to like stories. I just liked the art. It was pretty. But this was the first deck that I bought. This is the one that I use the most. I do have another one, which is also beautiful, but this is my this is pretty much my everyday deck. But tarot is only something that I've been doing um, for about 6 months now. But it's something that I connected to very easily and very quickly, though I am still learning. Um, which is why I give the warning, like anytime like anyone tries to join the queue, um, that I am still someone who is learning and growing in tarot. Because I know not everyone is going to be comfortable with that. And that's fine. I don't take any offense to that. But yeah, thank you. Um, this maybe something that I've only been doing for about 6 months. But I realized probably about a month ago a memory that hadn't I hadn't like thought of in years popped up randomly probably about a month ago, where I remembered a game that I used to play in my childhood. It it's called Loteria, or Mexican Bingo. That was a game that I played growing up extensively. That memory popped up. Something that I'd completely forgotten, that I hadn't thought of in probably like over a decade. So after that, I got curious as to why that would suddenly pop up. And I looked it up. It turns out that that game is inspired by and uses a lot of the symbolism from tarot. So that connection goes so much further back. It's only just now that I've actually begun to connect with it on a deeper level. Yeah, it was really nice to realize. And also thank you. Yes, I know that one was a sign from my spirit guides. That one was most certainly a sign from spirit guides. um, I'm not sure I'm going to be opening the queue tonight. Um, I was planning on doing collective readings tonight. I probably wasn't going to stream like too long. I've already been streaming for like says 47 minutes. I wasn't going to be streaming too long tonight because I'm actually a little tired today. I woke up very late because I live in the US and daylight savings time just kind of absolutely fucked my sleep schedule. I've certainly this is only like the fourth time that I've streamed. I try to stream like every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm going to have to tune Nightbot a little bit, I guess, because, oops. But, yeah, daylight savings time. Yep, yep. So, I woke up very late today. I'm still kind of tired. Um, yeah. Um, it's currently like 5:57 where I am currently. But uh yeah, so um I was considering perhaps maybe opening up Q later depending on like how I feel. I am starting to wake up a little bit more and I'm starting to feel a little bit better. So I might open up Q. Um but for now I was doing planning on doing collective readings. So if you'd like to stick around and see what messages collectives might have for you that you can resonate with, you're more than welcome to. Um, like I said, I might open up Q. I am starting to wake up a little bit and starting to feel a little better. I'm not as drowsy anymore. But I know part of the reason why I was planning on doing. Yeah. Well, good luck with your stream later tonight. But I know like a part of the reason why I was planning on doing collective readings tonight anyway too was the last 3 streams I've been doing readings with the Empyrean deck, the Empyrean Oracle deck, mostly because those messages are pretty powerful on their own. That deck is it's pretty punchy. Um, so it's best if readings from that are mostly left on their own. Um, so tonight was the first night that I was actually going to do um, actual tarot readings with a tarot deck. So I decided to start off with collectives because it is still something I'm a bit nervous about. But that is the point of me being here. Learning to read for others and have confidence in reading for others is pretty much the entire point I'm here. This is why that is why I believe I was led here. Because spirit guides have been sending me messages for months, essentially telling me to share my voice with others and step up and lead and share my insight with others. And I believe they want me to do that because it will help me learn. And also because I'm a little crazy and I have no issue really jumping into things full force. as a means of learning something. So yeah, it's probably why they let me here. They knew I wouldn't have an issue. Yeah. So I decided to start off kind of slow and just do collectives for now as a way of easing myself into it a bit. So, speaking of collectives, I should probably get started on that now. It's been almost an hour. Okay, so um, to restate the decks that I will be using, the tarot deck that I'll be using tonight is Tarot of the Divine, and the Oracle deck that I'll be using is Work Your Light. So, let's see. What message do we need to hear today? Hey. Right or reversed? Okay. Upright or reversed? That is sideways. Yes. Also, I'm sorry. I'm sorry your phone died. Hmm. But yes, I started off um simply shuffling and then just pulling like a few cards from the top. But um eventually it did start happening, like the other method began to occur where the cards would actually pop out. And since then, I have pretty much just done it that way. Yeah, both worked out all right for me, but I think it was necessary for me to start it off that way. But eventually, I guess when they thought I was ready, it just started popping out the cards. So the first card is the Queen of Cups. The second card is Six of Swords, and the third card is Six of Coins. So to me, this says to start connecting deeper with ourselves. First, we need to start letting go and moving on, and either begin sharing that with others, or first we must do those two things to get to a point where we can begin extending that to others. Oh no. I'm sorry. It's a message that pops up for me pretty frequently too, so I understand. I wouldn't say that. Sometimes it's just hard to do that. And I absolutely understand that. So you're welcome. I understand all too well how difficult that can be sometimes. It's taken me quite a long time to get where I am currently. And it's still not, you know, completely better, but progress is progress. Progress doesn't necessarily mean making massive leaps and massive changes right from the beginning. Sometimes it just takes small steps, and that's fine. Let's see what the Oracle deck has to say. Yes, exactly. What further insight do you have? Yes. Oh, well. The oracle card that popped out is Unbound. Also, I'm going to keep drawing because I think it might have another one. Actually, you know what? I'll pull you a card from the Empyrean in just a second because I can feel that one actually calling to me right now. So I'll get to that in a second. I'll pull a card for you. So, Unbound. Where did I put my book? The queue is closed currently. I apologize. I'm currently doing collective readings. So if you want to stick around and see what message resonates with you, you're more than welcome to. But either way, thank you for stopping by. Okay. Unbound says, it's time to release old soul stories that have been playing out in your life. They are coming up to be healed. There has never been a safer time to clear those patterns than right now. Take a look at patterns in your life that you are ready to release. Ancient vows and contracts that your soul made that have an expiry date. It could be a vow of silence or chastity or poverty. It is time to unwind from them. This is the life in which you free yourself from trauma of lives past. What old ways of being have an expiry date? When you name them, you claim them, and they stop holding power over you. When acknowledging these old patterns, it is also important to acknowledge how they have served you up until now. For example, a soul pattern of playing small caused by a soul fear of being seen or sharing your voice would have served you by keeping you safe. In order to grow, you now need to soften by receiving and calling in support. It is time to unbind from the old ways of being that are no longer sustainable. So, that one certainly is very on theme for the rest of the reading here, particularly about the part about letting go and moving on. This oracle card is telling you to let go of these old patterns that are no longer serving you. It is telling you it is time to release them. Yeah, I certainly understand that feeling. That is something, particularly that last part, is something that I'm still working on. Still something that I am addressing within myself. And I know, I certainly know how hard letting that go in particular is. Sorry about that. I accidentally just bumped my table. Yes. Yes, it is. Healing is indeed hard. Yes. Yes, it is. It does. The hardest part for me in particular is remembering that it does take time. I'm not going to see immediate results. I'm not going to see immediate progress. But the important part is remembering that even if you are taking small steps, that is still progress. Yeah. Okay. Um, yeah, my body is certainly telling me that it's time to go rest. um, yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to have to call it here in a little bit. Um, but like I said, I did feel called by that other deck. So let me let me pull you a card because I feel like the Empyrean has something to say. So so I feel like in particular, um, it has something to say to you, uh, Beast. But if this is something that anyone else can identify with, something that anyone else can resonate with, then go ahead and take it. So, what message do you have for Beast? I forgot to show you the deck. So, this is the Empyrean. This deck is absolutely stunning. Each of the cards are lenticular prints, so they each have two images that shift depending on how you angle it. This deck can be quite powerful and quite punchy, but it can also be very gentle and very loving. I hope for you currently it has something that is more gentle and loving. So, what message do you have for Beast? Nope. Wilderness. I know the message of this card. So let me bring up the booklet here, because I do have a digital version of it. Let's see what page is it on. Okay. Wilderness says, the wilderness is where you can expect the unexpected. It is also where a slight miscalculation can mean your life. It offers many lessons, one of the most important being precision. Do you look for food or do you build a shelter? What do you carry with you and what do you leave? What leaves you vulnerable and what fortifies you? This space you are in is requiring this level of calculation. It may not be your life on the line, though it is a period of choice. There are many paths, but to stay on the one you want, you must think everything through carefully. It is both intuition and logic, but not a place of emotion. You must make hard decisions and allow things to be stripped away from you, trusting that it all has a purpose. There is a feeling of aloneness here. Even if you have plenty of support, some journeys must be traveled alone. Here you can take total ownership over each choice you make, not looking outward for rescue, but truly knowing that you will rise to the occasion. It is likely an uncomfortable place. There is no fire escape, but it is a place where you will get stronger. When you leave the wilderness, and you will leave, you will not be the same. And that last line is the most important. There will be an end. I didn't even have to look at the book to know what the message of that was. The important part is that last line. There will be an end. I'm glad that that's something that you can identify with and something that resonates with you. Like I said, the most important part of this entire message was the very last line. To remember that there will be an end. If that resonates with anyone else, something that you should also remember as well. Whatever it is you're dealing with, there will be an end. Of course. Thank you for stopping by. Well, I stream at I try to anyway. I try to stream at the same time every day. So I try to stream at around 5 p.m. Central. So my schedule also isn't set in stone either, so it's something I should still probably play around with. But um, before I leave here, I will do one final pull from the Oracle deck. Just to close us off. So, for some reason, I just realized your name looks familiar. Do you by any chance watch Treasure Trove or Morgan? Yeah, I think I've seen you there a few times. I know you do, Brie. Also, hello. Okay, I forgot to take this off the screen here. There we go. Okay. So to close out, let's see what the Oracle deck here has to say. Yeah. What message do you have for us? For some reason, this deck strikes me as a bit camera shy. I usually don't have this much trouble getting a card to pop out. Unless I'm using it on stream. Message. Oh. There we go. A message it has to close us out with is Awakening. Awakening says, you are going through a period of awakening. Things are changing within you and at many levels. You are starting to remember ancient truths and discovering more and more about who you are and why you incarnated. You may find that you are experiencing past life flashbacks, seeing the invisible thread that is woven through all of life, or even feeling Kundalini Shakti rise through your body from the base of your spine. The most important thing for this time is not to overthink it and to stay grounded. Share your experiences with like soul people while you consciously integrate them. Journal and pay attention to your dreams. You are remembering and your soul gifts are emerging. During this time of transition and awakening, you may be called to devote yourself to being of service. There are ideas, truths, concepts, books, and creations waiting to be birthed into this world. Stay open to receiving them. Pulling this card may be a sign that you are here to birth one of these creations into the world. Or perhaps you are being called to make a shift in your life in order to be of service. Don't think too much about it. Well, I feel like that certainly is in theme with the rest of the readings. I feel like that's also a nice message to leave off with. I feel like this card in particular is just calling to allow the growth in your life to happen. And don't overthink things too much. Mm-hmm. Okay, and with that, it is time for me to leave. My body is telling me that it's time to rest now, so. But, thank you all for stopping by. Thank you for listening. And thank you for sharing your time with me. Hopefully I'll see you again sometime soon. But, bye for now.